Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good morning. I don't know where are you in the world right now. We are starting a new session of the Inspire TV live talks. And our special guest today is Robin Humbert. Robin Humbert is from United States, and she's involved in production of very important TV shows and films for more than the last 10 years. I don't know how she managed that because she's very, very, very young. So welcome, Robin. And we would like to tell us a bit more or everything about this wonderful professional experience you have. Welcome on board. And also we have your short film, your first short film in Cyprus International Film Festival, Fertile Myrtle. And you are in the right place because Cyprus International Film Festival is one of the first festivals who introduced this category, film category, for first shown filmmakers with their first short film. Thank you. I think you worked also with films at their promotion.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I worked, so once I kind of worked my way up the reality TV ladder, I worked, like I said, from PA up to field producer, story producer. I worked at the network at Discovery Channel a little bit. And then because I was working at these different networks, I worked at a streaming network as well. I had this more managerial experience. So then I got offered a position at Trailer Park, which they're a premier global entertainment marketing company. And I worked there for about a year with clients like Disney, Marvel, Amazon, Netflix. And we did a lot of trailers, promos, sizzles, things for them like that. And that was more like an agency type position. They're great people, super creative. It was great.
So you enjoy a lot your work. So tell me, do you have a team that you work often with them, or in every job you have a different team?
Well, there's definitely, when I'm working on these shows, if I have the ability to bring people on, there are definitely people and that I like to work with, that I have a good working relationship with. Otherwise, if I'm producing my own things, there is a small group of people that I've worked with before, I would love to work with again. My short film, The Editor, I had worked at two different production companies that she worked at. And so we didn't work directly together, but then for this film we did. And I would like to work with her again. She won a Peabody recently, a Peabody Award. She's really talented. And so there's a handful of people that I do really like working with. I know I trust them. We work together well. So I do try to bring us all together any chance I can. The director of photography as well, I worked with him before on a couple of different projects, and he is just really fantastic, and I really enjoy working with him.
Mm-hmm. How you have been involved with these big shows like Dancing in the Stars and Bachelor? Tell us some things about that, and maybe you can share with us some backstage stories.
Well, when I got on Dancing with the Stars, the interesting thing on our off season, because we were filming 2 seasons a year, so 4 months at a time, have like 2 to 3 months off, and then come back for 4 months. And so in the off season, I would go production coordinate on The Bachelor. So I was working on some of the 2 biggest shows at that time, and it was just fantastic. Both of those shows, they're both union shows, so the crews that you're working with, they're professional, they're amazing. My positions for them when I was on Dancing, I would be assigned 4 of the celebrity couples, and I would work with them and their management team to figure out their schedules and like when they want to dance, and book that time for them, and then also work with the producers if they had anything story-wise that they wanted to do, how we could do that. And when I say book it, I mean find the dance studio, pay for the dance studio, make sure that the dance studio is insured, all of the logistical side of things. But I could also kind of pitch stories if I thought of something or had an idea. And then towards the end, when I wanted to story assist Dancing with the Stars, they did a producer, because the field producers there film a lot of the dance segments themselves, or they did anyway. I don't know if they still do now, but they used to. So they trained me on how to film a camera and actually sent me out on a shoot just by myself. And I filmed, and they used the footage, and it made it to air. And I was so excited because I'm not really a camera person, but that allowed me to do that. They're hard shows, you work 6 days a week, 12+ hour days sometimes, but it is, again, just really fun. It really feels like a big family, especially on Dancing with the Stars, because a lot of the producers have been on it since season 1 or 2. So they all have long histories with each other. The dancers all know each other, and it is just a fun environment. So I had so much fun working on that show. I'm still, friends with everyone from there.
How long it takes the auditions for the Dancing with the Stars? What is the process? People apply by email, they send videos. How this process starts?
For auditions for dancing? For dancing, because they're booking celebrities, they have a talent producer or like a talent booker that will reach out and try to book people that way. All of the people have to be approved by the executive producer, so and the network as well. So I think sometimes, you'll see some cross-pollination from the network side. Like that's why there'll be girls from The Bachelor on Dancing with the Stars, because that's an ABC show as well. But they're also like really popular. So it makes sense that they would be on the show too. But so they have a talent booker that specifically goes out and will try to book. And that's like any other show that you would have, where if they're bringing in one person, with a younger fan base, they may want to try to bring someone with an older fan base to kind of try to balance that out. So they try to get a good mix of people that are also, well known, that people will want to tune in to watch. On The Bachelor, I did production coordinating, and that was very logistics, but very different because I wasn't working specifically with celebrity couples. I was booking like camera gear, making the call sheets, doing things like that. But I also, after coordinating for them, I have since helped and worked in casting for them as well sometimes. So that's kind of also a little different, because that's a very well-known show. So when they want to do casting, they have these big casting events in cities all over the country. They almost do like a tour where they're like, we're going to be in Chicago, come to our casting event here. And so hundreds of girls will show up, and we'll be there with cameras and interview 50 to 100 girls. There'll be a couple producers there to interview 50 to 100 girls each day, just asking them about their love life and getting to know them and put them on camera to then pass on to the casting director and producers. But they also, you can still submit online, anyone can submit. And all throughout the year, they also have casting producers that are constantly have their eyes out. So if they're at a restaurant and they see a guy, they're at the gym, they see a guy, they'll be like, hey, have you ever thought about being on The Bachelor? Are you single? And so that's kind of cool too. And I've done some casting work for them like that as well.
Tell me, the Bachelor is always a bachelor? Or he comes for the show and he has his girlfriend stays home?
That's when
the episodes.
Well, when the show started, they would try to pick almost like celebrity people, and now they try to use people that have been on the show, because that way the audience kind of knows them already, I think. And yeah, I don't know. Sometimes a lot of them have not married after the girls on the show. There have been a couple. So yeah, I don't know. So sometimes, like the one season I was on, his name was Brad, and he didn't pick anybody. And then he left, and then they brought him back as the Bachelor again a couple of years later, and he picked a girl, but I don't think that they're together. So maybe he is just like a lifelong bachelor. I don't know.
Yeah. But so it is true what is going on, because here in Greece we heard that it is under script, what the episodes and what is going on, it is already scripted. And
Right.
the Greek episodes are copies from the Canadian Bachelor.
Well, I know at least in the US, I think I feel like the actual emotions and everything, that those are true. Like, we did not have a script, but I think that when people say it's fake or it's not real, I think that it's really the environment that's not real, because you're taking these people from all over and putting them in one house together. They take your phone away. You have no access to the outside world, and you're in this beautiful place with alcohol just free flowing and whatever you want. And so that's just like not a normal environment. And so when people show up and they're kind of thrust into this, it's a fake environment that, you know, that doesn't happen anywhere else. But by being in that environment, they do begin to develop these friendships with the other girls, these emotions for the men or for the Bachelor. And I think that those emotions are really real. And I think that that's why the show is also super successful. But it is completely the environment that's fabricated. But it's not really like scripted, like in that sense. The Bachelor definitely has his say. If he wants a girl, like no one can tell him otherwise. Like it's up to him, you know? So, and I'm not sure about in Greece, but that's, at least in the US, that's how it is. I mean, there's definitely also producers and people who do, I feel like, try to have, you know, the Bachelor's best interest at heart. So if there's someone doing something not great, they may try to hint, like, is that really the best idea? But that's more to keep the show going. I mean, what's interesting, there was a Bachelor I heard talking on a podcast about how the producers want to do all these things and making it seem like we're these evil, like, people, like, behind the scenes. But their goal is to make the show successful. And the show is successful if the Bachelor has a happy relationship with a girl afterwards. So if they are even doing any plotting or anything, it's really only for the Bachelor's best interest in mind. And like, yes, it's ratings, but it really is if he picks a girl that he's happy with at the end. That's the end goal. So if there is any shenanigans to get there, it's really only, it's like if you have a toddler who doesn't want to eat their broccoli and you try to like slide it in under the potatoes, you know, it's kind of like that.
Okay, so for the people who just joined here now, our session, we are with Robin Humbert from the United States, and she's in TV production for more than 10 years. She's so young. I don't know how early she started. She told us that she started after her studies, but it is not obvious. And we talk about The Bachelor. She coordinates the coordinator production, and Dancing in the Stars. I come again to the Dancing in the Stars, this very successful show. I wonder if the talents bring their own people also, if they have an opinion who is going to dance with them, if they invite
right. I think and you know, I don't sit in those conversations, but I'm pretty sure that I think it depends on the star, right? If you're a really massive star and the show really wants you and they're saying, I will only do it if I can dance with this partner, I mean, it's up to the producers whether they want to indulge in that request or not. But if they really want them, they might, you know. But usually it's up to the show to kind of pair people together. It's ultimately up to the network execs and the producers, because also there could be many things happening. It could be that season that dancer gets pregnant and can't do it, or it could be that they get injured, or there's a billion reasons why it can't really be up to the celebrity talent. But they can definitely put in their 2 cents and say who they would like to. It just, is not guaranteed that that's going to happen. And again, I will say the more star power you bring, or the more that the show wants you, the probably you might have more pull then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you're first, like nobody's heard of you and they're kind of doing you a favor by bringing you on, you can't go around demanding things like that.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any memories, bad memories from these shows, that something didn't went as it was expected?
That didn't happen as it was expected. I'm like, I've got a ton of memories. Didn't happen as well. Yeah, I was on when Misty May Trainer, she's an Olympic volleyball athlete from the US, she was on, and she was one of the people that I was coordinating for. And actually I was able to go with the cameras to one of her shoots as well. That's when I was trying to learn more producing. She's a wonderful person, and they were filming her practice, because we do kind of like camera blocking, you know, where we film the practice so that way the director can see where they're going to be moving across the stage, so he can start plotting where the cameras are and the different angles and stuff. And while she was rehearsing, she pulled a muscle, and like that's really bad for an Olympic athlete, you know, because she had to leave the competition. She couldn't dance, and they were filming it, but only supposed to be for the director. But we ended up using it in the show just to show what happened, because we actually had it on camera. But that was really sad for her, because she had to get, you know, she couldn't continue on the show. And then it also kind of hindered her practice schedule. So that was a real bummer. Yeah.
I see. So Robin, I found out that you are an active member also of the Emmy Academy and the Producers Guild of America.
Yep.
So what do you do in Emmy Academy? You vote for the awards?
Yes. I get to vote for the Emmys. I'm in there as part of the nonfiction programming, so like the reality. And then I'm also in the producers hyphenate group, because I produce commercials or social or lots of other things as well. And yeah, they're a great organization. Yes, I get to vote. So they send, you know, I get access to all of these TV shows and things. And I also, you know, I've gone to the Emmys previously twice, because as a voting member, you have the ability to purchase tickets to go. So I went twice, and that was really fun. It was very fun. The show itself is really just everyone's so happy, and it feels like you're at like a prom or something. And there's so many celebrities, and afterwards at the governor's ball, it's just great fun also.
Yeah, but how's the procedure? How do you vote? I mean, you have a poll system?
Yeah, so they do it online when people submit, because anyone, as long as you qualify, you fit the qualifications, you can submit your you know, segment or your selection to be considered. And so first you'll get the first round of just everyone who submits. So that could be, it's a lot. And then from there, you kind of go through and pick which ones are your top picks. And then after that, then they come down to the actual like real nominations of like, you know, only the people who are in the top 5 to like for that category who got the most votes. And then from there, you vote again. And then that is what goes towards who wins the Emmy. And what's interesting with that is that sometimes actors will submit themselves. So a lot of the networks have their own awards category, because it is kind of strategic. You know, if you have people from one show, you want everyone voting for that show. So you may not submit other people in that same category. So networks have this very strategic thing that they do to submit people. But then like, for example, on Game of Thrones, at least 2 of the actors submitted themselves without the show, without the network approval, and they won. So that was really interesting. So the Academy also encourages people to like, here's how you can submit. You know, they're a really great resource with, getting people involved and learning the processes and what and how they can help.
Okay, I would like to share now the trailer of your short film, your very first short film, and you will talk about that later.
Okay.
Are we ready? Thank you. Christos, can we share?
You are pregnant.
Pregnant? You'd be fucking kidding me.
Ma'am, I can call the police if you don't calm down.
Could you repeat that, please? Someone rudely just came into my office.
Hey, are you okay?
I think you're just trying to scare me.
I'm not trying to scare you.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
But you have to make this decision within the next week.
Come on, I don't need anybody else going home because you're sick.
Come on.
You have no intention of marrying me. You don't love me.
And don't call me ma'am.
Okay, so finally you did all these things and you found the time to make a short film. Yeah, bravo. Well done. How long did take you the production? I mean, the writing, casting, how long?
Yeah.
For how long you were preparing the short film?
It took me about 4 or 5 months to write it. And initially when I wrote it, it was just an idea that popped in my head. And I really wasn't thinking that I would produce it. But once I finished it and I shared it with friends to get their thoughts, and they all said, well, when are you producing it? And I realized, yeah, maybe I should just produce it. So that kind of, had I come into it with the thought of I'm going to produce this, it maybe would have been a shorter time frame, but that was almost like an afterthought. But it took me about 4 or 5 months to write it. And then once I decided, it took me maybe about, I would say like 7 months to prep, but that was because I was also working on the show 𝘂𝘀𝗍𝗍 at the time. And I was just very lucky in that our shooting schedule, we would film for a week or two and have a week or two off, and then film for a week or two and have a week or two off. So in my off time, I created my own schedule of, okay, now I'm going to book locations this week. And this week I'm going to book the crew. And this week I'm going to do casting. And I filmed that in Chicago also. So I had to do remote casting. I utilized a local talent agency, and then a second one as well. And I happen to know a handful of comedians in the Chicagoland area, like one of the main stars. Her name is 𝘂𝗁𝗄𝗃, and I've met her before. She's fantastic. And so I had her audition separately. And yeah, it just kind of all came together. Yeah, I started it, I think, in like maybe November of 2017, started writing it. And then I finished filming it in November of 2018. And then I finished post with it in spring, summer 2019. But again, that was only because I was working on 𝘂𝘀𝗍𝗍 the whole time as well. If I were just focused on this, it would have been a lot shorter.
Yeah. And why did you choose this subject, this story?
Well, I have, most of those storylines were they were based off of real experiences of friends of mine. And I'm a middle-aged female myself, and I didn't even know everything about female reproductive health. And I thought, if I don't know that much about it, I'm sure many others don't. So I wanted to kind of put something together that addressed the topic, but also in a palatable way that people, because nobody really wants to talk about reproductive health. It's not a really fun or popular topic. So to share these stories in a way that can include some lightheartedness or comedy, or make it not terrible to watch or go through. That was why I wanted to do that. So we could start conversations and people can see it and relate and say, hey, that it's not just me, that happens to other people. And to just kind of, expand the conversation.
Okay, so I think you prepare something else now, a feature film. I think we can share the trailer of your future project. Is called the title Beyond the Peak.
Yes.
Right. So
Yes.
Christos, can you share the trailer? Thank you.
Accident that happened at work.
Nobody in the family, including David, had time to say their piece with Zachary.
I had to help my brother in some way. I felt called to the mountain, and I knew that there was a spiritual force there.
It was just almost a desperation to go to the mountain to pray for his brother.
Long live Zachary's spirit. I hope that he has a wonderful ascent.
I knew that it was a calling.
And then you realize, wow, the power of prayer is really there.
It was time to start 𝘂𝗄𝗄𝗃 Mountain Climbing Club.
Dylan, you just did your 5th 14er.
So this year you're attempting to perform the highest liturgy service on a mountain for the Serbian Orthodox Church. How do you plan on doing that?
We hope to have the liturgy in a cave beneath the summit of Blanca. We haven't been there yet.
This is survival on the mountain. This is 3-point climbing. You have to use your hands and your legs.
Once the liturgy starts, we can't stop. We have to complete it.
We pray to God to do this, so we are ultimately in His hands.
We cannot fail.
Sa Gospodom napred.
You crazy? Well, do you want to cancel the liturgy?
Do you want someone to die?
Climbing the mountain, for me, was life-changing. I do believe that this is a place to find purpose for our life here on earth.
So, through your films, are you searching the life, the purpose of life, Robin?
I'm sorry, what?
With your films, you are searching the purpose of life?
Yeah, yes, that just kind of happens, I guess. Well, and this story, I'm producing on it. There's a director that I'm working with who's the executive producer and the director. But when he came to me with the film, I definitely wanted to work on it because it is a meaningful and purposeful story. And I also think, especially right now, it's one man's kind of story of dealing with grief and loss of his brother. And I think a lot of people can relate to that, especially right now, and need some sort of inspiration and hopeful to see how to kind of turn things around and look for that deeper meaning.
Okay, you did already some shooting, you finished the shooting of this documentary?
Oh yes, that documentary is completely done filming. We have it, it's right now going to audio mixing and color correction, and we are chatting with 2 different distributors about potentially making distribution deals. So that's good.
Okay, very interesting. And it is shot in Serbia, I think?
No, it's filmed in mostly Colorado and then also Indiana. So there's a group, there's a Serbian Orthodox Church in Indianapolis, Indiana, and it's about the men there who pilgrimage and travel to Colorado or California or other places and climb mountains. And they are looking, they can't obviously right now because of the COVID situation, but they were planning on going internationally and climbing mountains in other countries as well.
Okay, good luck with this film as well. And we're looking forward to talk with you more during the Cyprus International Film Festival and tell us about the art of telling an intriguing story, an interesting story in a 30-second up to 2 minutes piece. And our participants are going to try to do that. And I'm looking forward for your opinion, if they are going to convince you to be one of the producers, theoretically speaking. We're going to finish in a while this session, but if you, Darin, hi, and Maria, hi, if you would like to pose a question to Robin, you are welcome. Or we can talk more during the festival days.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Robin, what is the future for you? You will working 12 hours per day as you do now, producing shows and films?
Yeah, well, I do. I'm starting tomorrow on a show for VH1 here, and it's only a 3-week shoot or 2-week shoot, 1 week prep, 2-week shoot. So I'm doing that. I've also for the past year been casting and producing user-generated content videos for Facebook for their content, their social content and marketing teams with an agency called Salt and Lime Media. So I've been doing that kind of a project here, a project there. And then all the meantime, trying to produce other content and projects. So I actually wrote another short film that I'm going to try to either produce or look for a co-producer, at least get that ball rolling for next year, even though I know filming right now is rather difficult given the current state of things, but I would like to try to get that going. And I'm trying to write my first feature with a writing partner. And I've also packaged a renovation series that I am almost done with, that I'm trying to get out to either like a cable network or studio.
So the future is filmmaking.
Yes, yes, yes. The future is filmmaking. Yes.
Okay, great. So you are looking for partners for scripts, or you are going to work on your own projects? How open are you?
If I found a script that I really did like, I would consider producing it. It wouldn't have to be just mine. It just happens that I write them and then I think I should just produce them. And even the short film that I wrote, I'm looking for co-production because it is a much larger production with a lot more elements. Part of it is historical, and there's also battles in it, so that would involve, it's a much larger thing than I've done, so that's why I'm looking for a co-production to help me with that, because I can do a lot, but I haven't done that quite yet. So yeah, it doesn't have to be just something that I've written. And for example, that feature film, Beyond the Peak, that was a camera person that I worked with on Bridezillas. We began talking, and he was the first, he was my first assistant camera on my short film. And he said, I have this idea for this documentary, I have all of this footage. And so we partnered together. So that wasn't like, that was more his concept and his idea. And I'm just helping him tell that story.
Okay, great. We wish you all the best. And very good luck in all of your endeavors and your life, to be healthy and be inspired.
Thank you.
So see you in the festival. We're looking forward to watch your short film, and we're going to organize this workshop with pitches. So we're looking forward for your masterclass there.
Okay.
So bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. And thank you for the opportunity and for the, putting on the festival and everything. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope next year we will be all together. The next year's participants and this year's participants will make a big celebration.
Yeah, that sounds. I like celebrations.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Ciao.
Bye.